Hello, everybody, and welcome to IntyCenter 1957. And we're going to start this week by jumping right into it with a 12-inning thriller between Game of Thrones and Let's Play 2. An Ernie Banks sac fly in the third and a two-run triple from Babe Ruth in the fourth sent us to the ninth with Game of Thrones leading Let's Play 2 2-1. Down to their final out, Let's Play 2 would get a game-tying solo homer from George Sisler, and we would be off to extra innings in the top of the 12th. It would be a two-run homer from reigning league MVP Archie Vaughn that puts the Kings of the North back on top, and they would hold on to that win 4-2 with Emmanuel Clase getting a four-pitch, two-out save. Hack Wilson and Carlos Beltran would each hit two-run homers in the bottom of the fifth. Those would be the only runs given up by Gales of November starter Dutch Leonard. They were enough, though, as performance enhancers snap the Gales winning streak and take this one 4-2. We're going to highlight three games on our second day, starting with the pitching dual tees we put in the thread. That's where Sandy Koufax of the Demon Bags went 9 2/3 innings, giving up one run on three hits. And Kurt Schilling of Every City Bandwagoners went 10 1/3, giving up one run on six hits. A Mickey Mantle RBI single in the fourth and a Jeff Bagwell homer to lead off the seventh were the only runs until we got to the bottom of the 11th. That's where a leadoff single from Noma would be combined with a pass ball to put him in scoring position. Jackie Robinson and A-Rod would be retired, but Thurman Munson would get the two-out walk-off double, scoring Nomar Garciaparra and giving that 2-1 win to the Bandwagoners. From there, we go to Columbia, where a one-out double from shoeless Joe Jackson scored a run at the top of the sixth, and almost scored two, if not for Ted Williams getting thrown out at the plate by Tris Speaker. That 1-0 lead, though, would carry until the seventh, when a Billy Hamilton pinch hit single would score John Anderson. In the eighth, Anderson would get an RBI single with one out, and much like that earlier play, Lou Boudreau would try to score, only to be thrown out by George Gore. That keeps the game 2-1 to Madrigal. In the ninth, a shack of their own would get a one-out single and a walk to chase Walter Johnson, but Bert Dorr would slam the door, getting a ground out and a fly out. A Madrigal escape with a 2-1 win. Dazzy Vance takes the loss, giving up two runs, one of them earned in 8 innings, while Johnson takes the win with one run in 8 1/3 innings. Third game of the day to highlight, that sees Smokey Joe Wood and Tom Seaver send Sithy and Amazings into the eighth, tied at 2. Consecutive doubles from Jose Ramirez and Stan Musial break that tie. And then in the ninth, Sithy would get insurance runs on a, home run pitch, bro. 2-run homer from Jose Ramirez. Wood would finish the game and Sithy win that one 5-2. Giving up just 3 hits and 1 run, Bob Feller helped Amazings to win the rubber match of that series with Sithy. Joe Morgan, Dan Brothers, Wee Willie Keller, and Joe Cronin each drive in a run, and Amazings take it 4-1. The Gales of November found themselves DEGROMINATED and swept. DeGrom tossed a 2-hitter, giving up 1 run over 9 innings. The Enhancers use 4 homers to back him, and they get the 6-1 win. And how about Dave Brown getting outpitched by Justin Verlander to help the Zodiac Guardians avoid a sweep at the hands of Stone Temple Seattle Pilots? Now, Brown wasn't bad. He gave up 4 runs in a complete game effort, and that raised his ERA all the way to 2.19. That tells you how his season's going. But Verlander was incredible, scattering 7 hits and giving up 1 run in the complete game effort. Jose Altuve hits a 3-run homer. That's the difference as the Zods win 4-1. As we switch up dance partners, we present a truth that's as reliable as the sun rising in the east. The Demon Bags losing despite a really good pitching performance. Grasshopper Jim Whitney gave up 3 runs on 8 hits and took the loss. That drops him to 4-9 on the season despite a 3.30 ERA. He gave up 1 run in each of the first 3 innings, but Lefty Grove would only give up a 2-run homer to Dave Parker in the 7th, and otherwise would keep the D-Bags off the board, and he gets the 3-2 win for a shack of their own. Family Madrigal and Sithy of Ostenard were tied at 2 heading into the 9th. A 1-out single from Johnny Mize put the winning run on base and sent Mirabelle to do a pitching change. She called on Ray Collins Collins would only deliver 2 pitches, as his second pitch was sent 339 feet, just barely far enough to that shallow porch for a game-winning pinch hit walk-off homer for Roy Campanella. Scythie take the opener in that series 4-2. Now, a day after wasting a good start and losing 3-2, the Demonbags wasted a mediocre start and lost 3-2. Fernando Valenzuela only goes 6 innings, giving up 3 runs on 5 hits, walking 7. But those 3 runs were enough, as the Bags only got 2 runs on 7 hits against Tex Houston in the loss. The Demonbags led that one 2-1 until Ned Williamson led off the 6th with a solo homer to tie it. A shack of their own took the lead in the 7th from an RBI single from who else? Williamson. If Williamson keeps hitting like that against the Demonbags, they'll be longing to see Fred Carroll behind the plate again. Now, if you're a fan of chaos, and honestly, who isn't, may we suggest Game 2 between the Pilots and the Gales. Gales of November used the help of a wild pitch to score 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to give them a 4-3 lead. Stone Temple Seattle Pilots responds with an error-assisted 2 runs at the top of the 7th to retake the lead at 5-4. A Joe DiMaggio homer in the bottom of the 8th ties it at 5, and a 2-run homer later that inning by Victor Martinez puts the Gales back on top 7-5, but we weren't done there. Not with a Willie Mays triple scoring 2 runs with 2 outs in the 9th. The Gales get a walk and a hit by pitch to threaten in the bottom of the 9th, but they fail to score and we'd be off to extra innings. At the top of the 11th, it's an Edgar Martinez RBI single to put the Pilots up 8-7. In the bottom of the 11th, Bullet Rogan with a 1-out walk, Ray Brown with a single to follow that. But Noah Syndergaard gets Ron Santo to hit into a 2-6-3 double play. It ends the rally, it ends the game, it makes Sean happy with his cold, dead heart, and the Pilots win that one 8-7. Now, the Demonbacks couldn't possibly lose by a score of 3-2 on 3 consecutive days, could they? Narrator, they could, and they did. And I'm not going to recap that game any further because I'm pretty sure Wang Chi wouldn't hear it over either his sobbing or his throwing of things. Instead, we'll talk about Scythie of Ostenar looking for a sweep at home of Family Madrigal and flexing their muscle to get it. They hit 6 homers, including 2 of them from Jose Ramirez, who's now second in Fidus with 16. Walter Johnson gets knocked out in the 3rd inning, while Bob Gibson tosses a complete game with 10 strikeouts. Scythie win that one 13-3. And we'll end this week with a game of throws and performance enhancers trying to top their earlier 11-inning gem of the game. We'll pick this one up in the 8th with the enhancers up 3-1. A Billy Wagner walk to Babe Ruth loads the bases with 2 outs, and home run Baker singles to score a pair, tying the game at 3. We're going to stay at 3-3 all the way till we get to the 16th inning. There, thanks to a single, an error, and a walk, the Kings of the North loaded the bases with 1 out. And there'd be no need for the butcher or the candlestick maker, because once again, it was the Baker. Home run Baker singling to score Dick Lundy and giving the 4-3 win to Game of Throws. Unfortunately, both teams actually used their bullpens in that one even before extra innings, robbing us of those expected eye-popping box score from the starters that we've gotten used to this year. That's going to do it this week for IntyCenter. We'll see you next time for another wild and wacky whip around Fidus.